Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and a link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. Most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show, as sharing the show increases the live audience, of course, and this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Arwin, Ranty, and I don't know if Mark's still with us, hopefully so. How are you doing, gentlemen? How are you all doing today?
All doing fine, thank you very much.
Yeah, doing good. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So, what do you know about PewDiePie then?
Well, I think he put a video out. It's he had Patricia and Mark Sargent in it, and that was the what's it called? You know, whether you've got your main image. They were on the main image to bring people in, and it's weird that PewDiePie, who's the biggest YouTube channel on YouTube, basically, who has all the millennials after him, and he's got the young 20s and things like that. It's interesting that he decided to put a video out after Mark Sargent came up with the stats that said that 40% of millennials and young people didn't believe the Earth was a ball. So, yeah, I mean, controlled opposition, definitely. I think that he rolled that out the following day to fire across, fire a shot across the bows of Patricia Steer and Mark Sargent, basically. In other words, we're watching you, and we can change the narrative and try and control what the young people say. You might think that 40% believe it now, but PewDiePie is on our side. You know, it was so weird that it came out the next day after that. So weird. And he's a Burke as well. I mean, he got a bottle of water and tried to drink it standing upside down, and that was going to prove gravity. What a knob jockey.
Yeah, he said this is my favourite bit, and then he went to like a soundbite from Patricia Steer talking about the ice wall, and I was like, "Well, what's she going to say here that's embarrassing?" And that was it. It's like ice wall, and I was like, "Yeah,
yeah."
What's the jape? What's the joke?"
Yeah, and then he cuts with the Game of Thrones. Okay, fair enough. That's obviously been put out lots of times, you know, as a reference to the ice wall. But when he went back to is it the Flat Earth Society's one where the water's coming off the edge? You know, I mean, we're not even the Flat Earth Society. Flat Earth Society is controlled opposition, basically. You know, we all know that. So referencing them, it's kind of embarrassing. He obviously doesn't know what he's talking about. He just thought it would make a nice video.
Well, I think it's like anybody. He might be the biggest YouTuber on the planet, quote unquote planet, but he's still going to do the same as everyone else. He's just going to do a cursory Google search, and his first 3 pages are all of the controlled opposition. Top result is going to be the Flat Earth Society. So you click on the top result, have a quick scan through it, see the memes of water falling over the edge, and go, "What an absolute load of nonsense!" And then put out your 10-minute video saying what a load of nonsense it actually is.
Yeah, he just embarrassed himself, though. He has 61 million subscribers. Get that, 61 million. He's massive in that respect. I think it's had 2 million views in a day. But there's no way that somebody grows that big without the nod and the wink from the people above. You know, the ones that want somebody put in place that can put a video out like this, get it to 61 million people, have it trending very high, and then those younger people whose minds are a little bit swayed by celebrity might take in some of that and believe him that if you stand on your head, you can prove gravity by drinking some water. Yeah, it was embarrassing.
Who are we
But he's
talking
definitely
about?
controlled. Sorry,
Hey,
go on,
Mark.
Owen.
How you doing, Mark?
Hi, gentlemen.
Hello.
And Owen as well. Hey, Owen.
Hey. I think it was just a stunt. I think that it's really amazing that indeed it was the day after Mark Sargent and Patricia's video when they made that remark. That's pretty interesting, really, that responded to that so quickly. But come on, PewDiePie, nobody really takes him that serious. He's a guy, his channel's based on just goofing around all the time. So I don't know, it's never gonna really carry any weight anyway. To be honest, I think he wanted to grab the extra views or something. That's what I think. Because come on, everything he did in there was so ridiculous. It was completely ridiculous. It was just a goofy video, really.
It would be interesting to see how much he actually thinks he knows of the world that he believes he lives in. So, if he's Jim Sardens, hello?
Well,
He
I
was
think
quick.
PewDiePie
That was
just
smart,
mostly lives in the gamers world. That's what he does. He does games all day, and that's what his videos are mostly about. And
Hi, Chris.
yeah, so I don't think he really cares that much eventually. In his games, there's going to be a lot of space and a lot of globes and stuff, and I don't think he cares really. Hey, where did Mark go?
Yeah, that sniper came in and got him. I said hello to him, but he didn't respond. And then, he took Mark out with him, unfortunately. And then Chris came in. I think that was a fake Chris. I haven't seen him in the chat.
Hello. Hello.
Maybe you could. Hello?
Hello again.
Who's that?
Hello.
It's Mark.
Oh,
Are
right.
you
Are you come back on
back on
Skype?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I'm
Brilliant.
getting an
Right,
awful
okay.
echo though.
That'll dissipate.
Okay. Yeah, it's gone.
Hey, we're under attack from the
Yeah, I know.
from the snipers.
It'll pass.
The trolls are rolling in.
We'll run out of accounts soon.
Yeah, that's it. There'll be a 10-minute burst. Hopefully we'll continue to talk about PewDiePie.
Yeah, PewDiePie. Yeah, so yeah, it would be interesting to see if is willing to do a debate with anybody. Perhaps he can bring to us some proof of curvature. Scientific proof of curvature. We've been asking Rumpus. We've asked all the top ball earthers that come to the channel, and nobody can produce any ball earth curves. So, challenge to PewDiePie. If he wants to produce some ball earth curve, bring it on, and we can have the debate. I'm sure Nathan would be willing to debate him, or Anthony.
I
Maybe
love
even
the idea, Ranty. I love it, but I highly doubt he'll ever engage in any kind of serious debate. But maybe, who knows? Maybe he will actually dare to get into an interview with Patricia, as she's more casual and it's not going to be very mean to him no matter what. That will be kind of fun. I think that he might actually do something like that. But
he reminds me, PewDiePie,
real debates? Nah. Sorry?
PewDiePie reminds me of the kind of kid that would stand on the sidelines throwing and heckling and throwing stuff at you. And then when you turn around and challenge him, he runs off.
Yep.
So that's essentially what he's done. He's put his little fingers into the flat earth cookie jar. And I think us as flat earthers need to turn that cookie jar and close the lid on him and hold him to account and say, right, okay, then, well, if you have a belief that the earth is a ball, perhaps you should bring all your evidence to the flat earth and let's have it out. Let's see who can come up with the most compelling evidence.
Yeah, we don't seem to get that from the Globers. We get flat earth proofs attacked and dissected, and then the presupposition of curve. That's all we seem to get from ballers. Dogma, basically. We had a really good example of it yesterday, without any information whatsoever about an observation. The rumpus asserted it's curvature that's obscuring the bottom of this boat. It's like you've literally got no idea.
Hey, Ute. Is that real?
It wouldn't be you. You'd never joins.
Yeah.
Too bad.
There's 2 stock accounts of you though.
Ah, fun days. I'm glad PewDiePie's made a video. You know, it might be the case that he understands consensus opinion is against him if he was to talk about flat Earth in any sort of positive light whatsoever. Therefore, why not broach the subject in a negative light? I learned that trick from Jaren 3 years ago. Rather than just saying to people, I'm not going to add this onto my debate because obviously there's people in here that enjoy watching us get taught a new one when we do badly, and they're obviously on the opposite side of the fence. So I'm not going to say, look, share my show and say, look how stupid flat earthers are, because I'm 90% certain people do that anyway. But yeah, it's the case that if you pass on the word, it may be the case that people ignore it. It may be the case that people actually listen and go, yeah, I'll have a look into flat earth. Why not? Oh, damn it, took ranty with him.
Yep.
Hello, Bilu.
It's Bilu.
How you doing?
Is it the real Bilu?
Hopefully. Not saying hello, so might have to eject him. Shame. Good picked out screen name. Might have just got on if you were a troll. Let's get Ranty back in.
Yeah, but that video, I think it would be kind of interesting to analyze PewDiePie videos and just see like how well did that video actually do compared to say the video he did the previous day and the video he does the next day. Just see how much views is he getting. It'd be
Yeah, I'd
funny.
imagine it's quality clickbait at the moment, isn't it, Flat Earth?
Yeah, it is. It's grabbing a lot of attention, both from the flat Earth community that are interested to see what is out there mentioning flat Earth, and of the negative clickbaiters that are just like, oh, look, there's this
Hey,
flat
Brenda,
Earth
can you hear
again.
us? Hold on a second, Darwin. Can you hear us, Brenda? There's some mix squeaking.
Hello?
Can I get
Hello?
ejected?
I can hear her.
Hello.
Yes.
Oh, hello, Brenda.
there-
Good to have you. Just in time.
How are you?
Hey, welcome back, Brenda.
For what?
Turn you up a little bit.
I haven't been on
Hello,
in a long
E.T.
time.
Belu, can you hear us?
How are you doing, Brenda?
I'm okay.
Nice.
What do you think of PewDiePie's video, Brenda?
I haven't seen it. I don't watch popular stuff.
Do you think that he could have proved gravity by drinking a bottle of water standing on his head?
I don't know that that's what happened. And I don't know what he said in the video, so I can't comment on it.
Okay. But do you think that would be an experiment that could work to prove gravity?
Oh, I don't know what he did, so I can't really comment on it.
You're not going to have
Just
Brenda on
describe
this
it.
one, Ranty. Just accept it.
Well, I don't know what he did, so how can I haven't seen it, so I
He
can't
stood on his
possibly
head and
comment on it.
drank a glass of water. That's it.
No, that's what. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that.
Well, I'm describing it. Would that prove
Well,
gravity?
I don't know. What did he do?
Hey,
Stand
Dawn,
on
can you
his
hear
head.
us?
And drink a glass of water.
Hello, Dawn.
Yo, it's the real one.
It's me. It must be the real one. Let me work my mic. Yeah, I'll give you a few seconds, Dawn.
Well, if you hold something up,
Yeah, I'm here. Hi.
There we go. Good to have you. You're a bit loud, but nice to have you all the same.
I can turn it down a little.
That's perfect.
That's
That's
better.
good. You're good.
So you're saying, Brenda?
He wasn't proving gravity. He was just saying how water's not always flat and level. Or no, he said that water doesn't
Oh.
always find its level because I can turn the bottle upside down.
oh, so Abby was lying,
Abby,
or whatever his
Abby?
name is.
Origin.
Arjun was lying. You were lying, weren't you, Arwen?
Oh, he didn't watch it probably because he probably thought it was, it's quite
I
annoying.
skimmed through it.
Did you actually see the video, Arwen?
I skimmed through it.
Hang
I
on.
didn't see
You didn't see the
every
video,
single
so
second
you
of
were
it.
lying.
No, I was just
What a
referring to.
surprise! What a surprise!
The most famous YouTuber making
Brenda, what are you
thousands of
doing?
pounds
What are you doing
on
here
Flat Earth
today?
being a joke. That's what happened. And that's his second video on it.
Really?
Oh,
What's
is that
his-
right? I didn't know it was his second
So,
video. When did he
Why
do his
did,
first
why
video,
did you
Dawn?
lie, Arwen?
What are you talking about?
You lied. You told me a falsehood.
No, I
You told
asked.
me he did
what-
something and he didn't do that.
I was referring to what Ranty said in this case, and I
So-
didn't see it myself. But I asked you a direct question,
Hang on,
and
hang on, wait a minute
unrelated.
before
Thus,
we-
So Ranty
standing on
was
your
lying.
head and drinking a bottle of waterproof gravity. That's what
Well,
I asked
he
you.
didn't,
That's not a
he didn't
lie.
do
It's a
that,
question.
though, did he? He didn't
He
do
did
that.
actually
Ranty
do. He
was
did
lying.
actually do that, Brenda.
Apparently he
did
is.
actually
He
do
is
that.
lying.
No, I'm not
No,
lying.
no.
I didn't say that he did that. I asked you, would that prove gravity? That's not a lie. It's a question.
Well, no, he wasn't trying to, was he?
That's non-related. I asked
Yeah,
you.
it
a
is.
question.
It's the whole point.
At first, you said he was trying to prove gravity by turning a bottle upside down. I don't think
He did
PewDiePie's trying to
actually do
prove
that.
anything. He's just making like a joke out of
Oh,
Flat Earth.
Yeah.
That is obvious, of course.
Yeah. So what do you think about that? The biggest YouTuber ever using your alternative reality theory as a joke, and millions of people laughing at it.
I wouldn't think it was. I'm
It
looking
can't-
now at the.
It can't feel good, can it?
Everybody starts out laughing at it, so that's how it starts.
Well, if all you ever do
Yeah,
is just lie,
there's
then
still-
why should anybody
there's
take
still
you seriously?
one-
No, Brenda, don't get all smearing.
You just did.
No, I didn't.
There's still nearly 2% of dislikes on his as to likes, so that's 3.3 thousand dislikes. So essentially, somebody somewhere is a flat earther.
Well, he
There's
did
more out
prove
there
one
than you
thing.
think, Brenda.
He proved that water doesn't always find its level, didn't he?
Yeah, water does always find its level. Water at
No, it
rest.
doesn't. Not when you drink it when you're standing on your head.
Water at rest.
Because it's still.
Yeah, that's you can get water to flow when you pour it down your throat, but that wouldn't be at rest
So-
now, would it?
Right.
Flat
So
Earth is-
it
Flat Earth
didn't
is saying-
find its level.
Flat Earth
Yeah,
is
water
saying
at
it
rest
always
Water
finds-
falling
does
from a
find its level,
waterfall
Brenda.
is
That-
not level
that is a
while
fact.
it's
Water
falling.
does
It's showing that
find
the
its
statement
level.
water always finds its level is wrong.
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, water does seek to find a motion-free situation. It does seek its level. Hey, Flat Earth Head, good to have you. Hello.
Hey guys, this is Walt. How y'all doing?
Not bad. Is it Walt?
Flat Earth Head. You probably know me more as Flat Earth Head.
Flat Earth Head, good to have you. This troll
How you
out.
Boy,
doing?
next.
Hello, Peter.
So I've been gone for I don't know, a couple months. I don't pay any attention. You guys figured out the Earth is round yet?
The
Well, we're
Earth
looking
is
for
flat,
some
Brenda.
scientific proof, actually. Perhaps you can, seeing as you've not been here for a couple of months, perhaps you could enlighten us with some scientific proof of curvature, because all your other friends seem to have failed at this at the minute.
Well, what would you accept as proof?
You show us and we'll have a look.
I don't know what that means.
It means don't worry about what we'd accept. You put what you've got on the table as scientific proof of Earth curvature, and we'll have a look at it.
Well, I don't understand why you can't answer the question. What would qualify as truth, as a true, as good evidence?
That's not what we asked for. That's not what Ranty said. He said, what is your scientific proof of Earth curvature? So if you don't understand what scientific proof means, go and have a little look. Look it up.
Would a photograph work?
No, that wouldn't be a scientific proof now, would it? Go and look
Yeah, it
up
is.
scientific
Yeah,
proof,
it is.
Brenda.
Scientific.
Rather
yeah,
than ask me what
photographs
I
are
would
scientific
accept,
proof. Sure
go
they
and have
are.
a look. Go and look it up.
No, scientific photographs are perfectly acceptable scientific proof. They're
So
used
put one on the table
in
and watch what
science
happens.
all the time.
So put one on the table and watch what happens.
Oh, okay. Let me see here. There's that, and there's that, and then share screen. share, and then this. And there you go. You see the curve?
Nice.
Sorry, this isn't a
That's
scientific
fisheye
proof. What would be the null hypothesis, Brenda?
Well, it's curved.
Are you a idiot, Brenda? Do you understand what a scientific proof is? Clearly not. This is a photograph, Brenda, not a scientific proof of Earth curvature. Do you understand that?
What type of scientific proof, Nathan, do you want?
You have a go-to, Dawn. You stick it on the table, and we'll have a look at what you've got, mate.
What's wrong with?
Hang on.
What's wrong with it?
It's
Well,
not
while
a
everyone's
scientific
digging up
proof,
their
Brenda.
pictures,
Read
can
my
I
lips.
ask
Why is it not proof?
Hold on. Hi, Vitali. Oh, you're just going to be a troll.
Hello, I am Vitali Gregor.
No, you're a troll. Look up scientific proof, Brenda. If you don't understand what it means, that's fine. You can present your crap
I
picture.
understand what it means. I
You
don't
can present
understand
your
why this is not evidence.
Unverified picture,
curvature.
no problem. And we'll say, yeah, that's not a scientific proof, love.
Why is it not count as evidence for Earth curvature?
Did you not hear the words scientific proof? Because you seem to have heard
Well-
the word evidence. Yeah, I didn't ask you to evidence anything. I asked you to prove it scientifically.
Yeah,
Why?
so what you're asking for, when you receive it, you're just calling it ridiculous.
No, I've seen it, and I thought it was ridiculous then.
Okay, what do you think about this,
It's
Nathan?
ridiculous now.
What do you think about it, Nathan?
Well, we don't.
This is
I've
what you
never
asked-
seen
this
it
is what
before,
you
so I
asked
don't
for.
know.
Scientific proof of Earth's curvature. And where's the helicopter going?
It's dropping in the refraction zone. Oh, yeah. There's no cumulative drop out there, really.
I think it went behind the curve.
You
Yeah,
don't
you think
understand
that, but you're
what a
wrong.
scientific
Because
proof is.
if you go up, then that curve disappears. It
So you
migrates.
want-
It's
you
an
want
optical
scientific-
effect
you want-
caused by refraction.
You want scientific proof of Earth curvature, and we've shown you two types now, and both of them are not good enough. So what type do you
Well,
want?
the first is falsified because that's obviously
Hello.
fisheye lens, and the second one
Hello,
is a
Ammo. How are you
mistake
doing?
because that's refraction.
Hold on a second,
and it's
Arwin.
not curvature.
Arwin.
It's not a physical
Hello,
curve.
Ammo.
What type of scientific proof do you want? Then,
Anyone?
if those two aren't good enough.
You need to be quiet when we get a new guest in, otherwise I just have to kick them because I don't get to say hello.
Okay,
Sorry,
Dawn and Brenda, you guys are showing us these wonderful videos and pictures as proof, and yet we show you wonderful videos of things like, oh, I don't know, the video this team has been showing for the last few months of an impossible shot from St. V's. But
I haven't
that
been
doesn't do
watching.
anything for you.
Sorry, you're changing the
So-
subject. You're changing
No,
the subject.
I'm
Nathan,
showing
what was wrong with those two scientific proofs?
proof.
I
Do
just
not
told
accept
you.
ours as proof.
You're changing the subject back to Isle of Man. They're asking us for scientific proof of curvature. We're showing it, and I just want to understand
I
what
just scientific
explained
proof.
What the reaction
what was
is.
wrong
Okay,
with
let's
those
test how
evidences.
scientific it is, Dawn. What's the independent variable in the test?
independent variable.
Yeah, that tells me that you haven't got the slightest clue what you're talking about, you complete dickhead. When you repeat what I say back to you, there's two reasons people repeat back to you what you've just said to them. Number one, they didn't hear you. Number two, they're buying time because they don't understand.
So what type of proof do you want if those two aren't good?
Let's just make it clear again, because Dawn is either deaf or an idiot. Scientific proof.
There's no
What
such
type?
thing,
What
Nathan.
type?
Right,
A
look it
laser?
up.
Sticks in the ground?
Look
What
it
do you
up.
want?
No problem. You can deny it all you like. So far, you've presented a photograph showing that you're a moron.
I showed a video of a
Not
helicopter
you,
disappearing
not you.
behind the curve.
No,
Not you.
it disappeared in the vanishing zone caused by
No, the
refraction.
vanishing zone is
And
the
it's a very
vanishing zone.
local phenomena that's at a specific region of vision. It's not a
You
cumulative
don't even know where it is.
constant
though.
curve that is everywhere.
There's no such
And
thing
it
as
does
the
not
vanishing
drop
zone.
cumulatively into the distance after the refraction
Hello.
slant moves on in a straight line. It does
Hello,
not drop
Chris.
cumulatively.
There's no such thing as a vanishing zone.
Yeah, there is. It's called
No,
refraction.
there
It's
isn't.
optical science.
yes.
It's provable.
Yes,
You can
but it
actually
isn't always.
replicate the proof. How the optical
You
curve.
can't show that. You can't show that refraction was happening there.
Yeah, you
There's no
can.
such thing as
We
curvature.
do it all the
You
time.
can't show that curvature
No, you
exists.
So what was wrong with the photograph that I shared?
Well, it
how many
was
times do you have
produced
to
by
say it's not a
NASA. We
scientific
can't
proof of
replicate
anything?
it,
It's a
and it was
photograph.
obviously a fisheye lens photograph.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Just
No,
a
it's not,
photograph.
because
a
why
photograph
do
isn't
you
a
think it's
scientific
fisheye?
proof. Let's test the acid.
Can you
Do
drop
you
it
want
in
me to
the
do the
chat
same
so I
acid
can do a
test I
little
just did with Dawn with you?
investigation of that
What's the
photograph?
independent variable?
I don't know what independent
I'm
variable
asking
means. Sorry,
Brenda.
Nathan.
I'm asking Brenda.
Nathan,
What's the
just-
independent
what?
variable in your photograph?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, that again, like Dawn, shows me that you're an idiot and you obviously don't
Why am I an
understand
idiot?
what
What
a
do you mean?
scientific proof is. Go and look it up, then come back to me with one that qualifies.
Well, the null hypothesis for the photograph
There is
would
no
be
null hypothesis for a photograph. Don't be so ridiculous.
Well, then there's no independent variable for a
Right,
photograph.
correct.
Don't be
That's why it's not a
ridiculous.
scientific proof, you thicko.
There's no such thing as scientific
Yes,
proof.
there is.
There's just
You just don't have
evidence
any of Earth
which
curvature.
accumulates to.
You just don't have any, otherwise you'd have presented it. You've attempted to, and I've pointed out how unscientific it is. Yeah? That's the situation. Go and get another one.
No, that's a perfectly fine photograph.
You can accept that all you like, you retard. If you want to accept that as a scientific proof, then you're an idiot. You can accept what
I
you
don't
like.
believe in-
Your belief isn't my affair. I don't give a crap what you believe, you moron. Go away and take your beliefs and your single photographs elsewhere. I don't care about your belief.
Well, if we want to know whether or not the Earth has a particular shape,
Then we would go and get scientific proof of it. You've had 2,000 years and you've got a photograph to put on the table.
what's wrong with the photograph?
How many? I've said it about 4 times to you. Are you deaf? It's not a scientific proof.
There's no such thing as scientific
Yes, there is
proof.
such a thing as scientific proof. Don't deny, especially after you've attempted to provide one, tried to defend it and failed,
not
and now
proof.
claim that there isn't such a thing. What kind of idiot are you?
Proof that the Earth is round. This is evidence.
Nathan, did you get the words independent variable from QE last night?
Hey, it's a
QE?
new phrase.
That's
He
what,
just
that's,
learned.
what I'm being told. You're just repeating words from Quantum Eraser.
Do you think that Quantum Eraser was the one who developed the scientific method?
No, I think you're saying a word now that you heard him say last night.
Does it matter where he got the word
You think
from?
independent
Yeah,
variable
it does.
is a
Yeah, does
word?
it really matter where?
Sorry, does Dawn think that independent variable is a word, singular?
Independent variable John. That's what I'm being told.
Right, do you think that's a word, singular?
Obviously not. Obviously, I know the difference between one word and 2 words.
No, you seem to not know the difference.
just a
You seem
phrase
to
that
not
you've
know the
picked
difference
up.
between singular
And you think
and
it
plural
somehow
at all.
applies to photographs. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you don't
Which
really have any
independent
part in this
variable would you
conversation
require,
anymore.
Nathan?
You are quite literally retarded, as you've presented a photograph as scientific evidence, scientific proof. It is not.
Evidence. It's evidence.
It's not.
You can't even
scientific
explain what
proof.
type you want.
It's not
It's
scientific proof.
evidence that tends to.
Why are you now inserting this word evidence? Yeah, Ranty asked you a question. What's your scientific proof of Earth curve? This is what you've got.
There's no such thing as proof.
Yes, there is.
No, there isn't. Not in
Just
science.
insert
In
your
math,
nonsense
there is, but not in
elsewhere.
science.
What are you even here for? To tell us that science doesn't prove things? Oh, you're a retard then. So why did you put this photograph up then? I ask for scientific proof. You come back with a photograph, then tell me that science can't prove stuff. So why did you go and get a photograph? Why didn't you declare that first? Why didn't you declare that first?
I'll tell you why I put the photograph up, because it's from 1966.
So what? Does that mean it's a scientific proof of Earth curvature because it's from 1966? That's just a date that you've attached to the photograph that you've presented. I'll say it again, because you're clearly retarded. It's not a scientific proof.
Yeah,
Why not?
And by the way, fisheye lenses
Hello?
existed
There's nothing
for a
fish-
very long time. They've been
Fisheye
around.
lens is the pathetic
That's not a-
excuse, Darwin.
No, that's the standard method.
The
It
satellite
looks
in the image isn't curved. It's straight.
No, it definitely was.
The fisheye lens curves everything.
Yeah, but
So did you take this picture, Brenda?
Okay, Nathan, now I'm being
This is
told that
just-
independent variables only apply to certain parts of biology, nothing to do
Oh,
with
right.
Earth.
So from the back chat, you've been told that the
So
scientific
who's
method's
telling
wrong.
you this?
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Just get
I'm being
Rumpus on to
told
tell
that
me
it's to do
directly,
with
Dawn.
biology
Just
and
get
only
one of the
certain
intelligent people to come on and challenge me directly.
Well, Chris, you keep booting him, so...
Yeah, because he's not welcome. Chris is never
Okay.
getting on the show ever again. Glad that he's trying, though.
So
Did you know that independent variable only applies to certain parts of biology?
I don't know what that means. Independent variables is a mathematical term. It can be used in math. It can be used in physics. I don't know what the hell that's people are using that for.
Yeah, look up the scientific method.
A variable is just a mathematical expression.
Yeah, just look up the scientific method and then bring us
mean-
something that you think conforms to it. That's
I
it.
did.
Yeah, well, you were wrong, weren't you?
I have evidence.
Yeah, you
Okay.
keep inserting this
We
word
lost.
evidence,
We
don't
couldn't,
you?
we couldn't prove Earth's curvature to you.
Yeah,
we lost.
you've got evidence, haven't you?
What about?
Yeah.
Can you show me the
well,
edge?
You know, when there's a trial, you've got two parties that are fighting with each other. Both sides present evidence, don't they? So just having evidence isn't proof, is it?
That's true. That's
Right, I know it's true. So you using this word evidence when we've asked for proof is kind of pointless, isn't it?
Well, trials don't have proofs. They're just They just have a verdict, which is guilty or not guilty.
Right, well, you
And
can
I
make your own
find-
verdict
I
here.
find the Earth
If you want to
not
make your
guilty of being
judgment and
flat.
decide that it's curved based on the evidence that you've got, then that's your choice. You can believe whatever
The
you
Earth
like.
The Earth
Well,
is
the
not
Earth's
guilty
shape
of
is not
being
on
flat.
trial, is it?
Exactly, correct,
Well,
Darwin.
Nathan just used the language of a trial. So
We're talking about
so
facts
under-
here,
under the
not
terms of
talking
a
about
trial-
trials and evidence. We're talking about facts.
Well, science uses evidence and facts to
Yeah,
construct theories.
facts. That's right, facts.
Yes, and theories. It
Right.
uses
Well, I don't want the
evidence that's
theories.
used,
I want the facts.
Evidence and facts.
They might
are
use theories. Yeah, that's what scientists might use. I'm not interested. What I'm interested in is something that you can present here and now that conforms to the scientific method and proves that Earth is curved.
Well,
Could
there's
you
no
show us
such
the
thing
edge?
as proof in science. So
Don't worry
I
about
can
what we
give
can show you.
evidence that
You've had
confirms
2,000
the
years, Dawn.
hypothesis
2,000
that the
years
Earth
you've
is
had to
round.
prove this. 2,000 years. Yeah? You're asking a YouTuber who's been on YouTube for 3 years, not a scientist, to prove the alternative theory to you. No, no, no. You prove what 2,000 years has come up with as a scientific proof of your bullshit religion.
No,
well,
I can't. I've tried. It doesn't work.
We
So-
came up with proof. Came up with proof that the Earth is round 2,600 years ago.
So
back
show
in
that.
Greece.
So show that then.
We can't show it because that was done 2,000 years ago.
No, you can't
If
show
you've
it
got a
because it doesn't
scientific proof
exist.
of Earth curvature,
It's just
I
math.
want you to present it and we'll go through it. It's simple. First, we'll figure out what the experiment's about. Then we'll figure out what the independent variable is. Then we'll figure out what the dependent variable is. We'll go through the whole shebango.
Well, the independent variable in determining the curvature of the Earth
Is the Earth
would
is flat?
be its degree of curvature. Is it flat or is it slightly curved? Is it
So you can
spherical?
independently vary
Maybe-
how much curvature
maybe-
there is.
Maybe
You
the
are
Earth is
really
like a
stupid,
yarmulke. It's just
Brenda.
kind
You
of
are
like a
quite
curved-
dense. You are quite thick.
I think you
You
just
know what,
picked up
Brenda?
a new
Maybe you're
phrase.
right, but the thing is, you can't prove that it's a ball of the
Yeah, I can.
specific official consensus of what it's supposed to be.
I
And
can
that's the whole point.
I can give you evidence that confirms the theory that the Earth is
Yeah,
round.
and we can disprove that.
No, you can't.
Yeah, we can. We can explain it in
evidence-
another manner with different presumptions.
The evidence is a vast number of eyewitnesses, photographs, videos
Yeah, that
And-
all
and other
presume
data
the same
from
model that
space
we can
that
disprove.
demonstrate that show clear curvature. There's
No,
other
no,
evidence.
we can disprove that is curvature, and we did
No, you
so in
can't.
a variety of ways.
They're all from
but
third-party
you simply
sources. So
denied
have you
that
got
the
any of
photograph
these?
was
Have you
evidence.
got any of
The
these that you
photograph
can
is from
provide as a
1966 before
first-hand
their
source?
computers able to do any kind of CGI.
So have you got any of this that you've just listed as a primary source? Have you done any of this?
So we can give you all kinds of evidence.
Don't.
There's
you're not-
photographic.
you just there was a
there's,
long
visual
pause. Then you completely ignored my question, Brenda. So, are any of these things on that list independently verified or produced by you?
Well, you can go out tonight and you
Not
can
what
watch.
I can do. Why is it that when I ask someone a direct question, they start telling me about what I can go out and do tonight? Do I have to
Sunsets
repeat the
prove the Earth
question?
is
Are you
round.
thick or deaf?
Can we calm it? Can we
Do you
calm it
need
down
me
a
to
little bit and
repeat
be
the
nice to each
question,
other?
Brenda?
Well, Nathan is very different than what I knew him from.
I can be harsh and horrible as well and be called a dickhead and a retard, but
It used to
I'd
be
like
that
if we can get on nice.
Yeah, we're getting aggressive with the Globers. These arseholes that decide that they're going to present nothing and just assume that the Earth is a sphere and then use presuppositional mathematical formulas when this kind of person like Brenda is asked, have you gathered any of this information that you've just listed? Have you verified any of it? There's a long pause and then a subject change. That's why I'm getting annoyed, Dawn.
Okay, I can
So I'll
answer
ask
that
again.
question
Do you need me
directly.
to repeat the question, Brenda?
I can answer you. I can answer you.
Excellent.
The answer is I have not personally done any experiments.
So Brenda is about to present second-hand sources that she's been given by a third party, by a man in a white coat, who tells her that it's a sphere. And she, what's the word? Oh yeah, she believes him.
Well, yes, that's what all knowledge is.
That's what belief is. That's not what knowledge is. That's what belief is. Because that's what you are. You're a believer, Brenda. You haven't verified it. You haven't gathered it yourself. You haven't done anything except believe somebody.
Yes, Nathan, knowledge is a justified true belief.
Oh, right. Well, justify Earth curve with proof from science that adheres to the scientific method. There has been a 2,000-year period for science to prove this.
Knowledge is a justified belief.
I don't want to hear about your justified belief. I want you to present a scientific proof of Earth curvature. Don't tell me about your justified beliefs.
So I'm justified.
I don't want to hear about how
from
justified you
certain
are.
Sources.
Present
People
proof.
There's no
Nathan,
such thing as proof.
I'm being asked to relay one more question to you. What independent variable do you want for Earth curvature? What is your independent variable? Because you're asking us, but you're the one that wants the proof, isn't it?
You're the one who's asserting it's a globe, you idiot.
No, you're the one that's asserting it's not.
What is an independent variable, Dawn?
I have no idea.
It's the cause.
Independent
It's
variable-
the cause. That's what it is. The cause.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
You don't even know what
talking about?
scientific proof
What-
is.
what
You've
would
put a
your
photo
independent
on
variables
screen.
be
You've got
if you were
no
measuring
horse
Earth
in
curve?
this race. Brenda, you've got 0 horses in this race.
An independent variable is a cause.
Is the cause. Yes, that's correct. That's what I just stated. Don't put a question mark after it.
We don't have
That's
to,
a fact.
We don't have to determine the cause of why the Earth is round. Just
Oh, do we
establish
not?
the fact that
Oh,
it
we
is.
don't. We can just ignore that part of the scientific method. It's not necessary, according to Brenda.
That's correct.
Oh, that's correct, is it? No, it's not correct,
Yes.
you moron.
Oh.
Go and look up what the scientific method is, then come back with the scientific proof of Earth curvature. Don't tell me about your justified beliefs. Don't tell me about your religion. Don't tell me what a man in white coat told you. Get me a scientific proof that Earth is curved. You've had
Well,
2,000 years
there's-
to acquire it.
Yeah, we got it 2,600 years ago.
So present that.
Yes, that's what that is.
So
That's
present
the
it
Greek
so I
experiment
can
that showed that the
establish
Earth is
what
curved.
the null hypothesis is, what the alternative hypothesis, what
What
the
the
independent
alternative
variable
hypothesis-
is.
Yes,
I can
tell
establish
you what
all
the-
these
what the
things
null hypothesis. I can
once
tell you
you
what that
present
is.
it.
The null hypothesis would be that the Earth is flat.
So present it in a format that I can dissect it, put it in front of me so I can go through it at my leisure.
I'm not bothered about proving Earth's a sphere to you anymore, really. I'm just bothered about showing how flat Earth is impossible.
Oh, well, that's what most dickhead globers want to do. Prove
Well,
how
you're
flat Earth
asking-
doesn't work. Most globers are like you, Dawn. Nice that you can summarise it so eloquently. Yeah, most of them aren't really interested in proving their own religion. They'd rather just disprove flat Earth, right?
It's not a religion.
Yeah, it
why
is.
do you say
Religion is based on faith. Faith is akin to belief.
no? It's not.
Yeah, it is.
Faith is belief without evidence.
Yeah, so when you accept the word of a man in a white coat and you don't verify it or check for yourself or gather any of the information, you take it on faith.
No, I take it.
On scientific proof, on evidence, on facts? No, you take it on faith.
Faith is belief
Hello?
without evidence.
Hello?
Knowledge is belief with
Hello?
evidence.
Hello, Dogmatic.
Hi. Hello?
Good to have you. What can we do you for?
Nice icon.
Yeah, nice icon.
All right, good. At least you can hear me.
What can we do you for?
Faith is belief without evidence, and knowledge
necessarily.
is a belief that
No,
you have.
faith is belief
have
without
just-
proof.
No, it's not. It's belief without evidence.
It's all right. Let her justify how her religion's not a religion.
All right.
Yeah, science is a belief. All knowledge is belief. A belief is any thought that you have that you assume to be true, that you take to be true. So, I say that there's an apple
AP.
on my countertop.
Hi. Hello.
I believe that there's an apple on my countertop, and I go and see it. I take.
Is this too loud?
And I have the picture. Oh, I have an apple on my countertop because I accept the photograph as evidence that there is an apple on my countertop.
And you can easily verify it, correct? You can just go and check whether or not it's there. That's why I asked if you'd verified any of these pictures, Brenda.
Huh?
Yeah, another
that
slow
photograph is
pause.
verified.
The cogs turn slowly. Yeah, it's all about verification, isn't it, Brenda? So it's all well and good saying that, well, I've seen a photograph of the apple and I can just go and check it. Well, have you gone and checked these pictures are real? Have you taken any of them for yourself? Oh, no, you haven't. You've already confessed to that. You just take it on faith.
Faith has two meanings. One is
Yeah, here we
belief
go. We
without
start
evidence.
bandering
The
words
other-
about meanings of words
It's
into
not-
semantics rather than accepting your own
trust.
bullshit religion.
Faith, no, okay. Faith is accepting things the way they are. Belief is wanting things to be a certain way. They're different. They're
No,
not the
that's
same.
wrong. You're wrong.
No, it's not wrong. You're
Mark.
wrong.
You're just an
You're
idiot.
wrong. You're an idiot. You don't even know what
Belief-
sex you
a
are.
Belief is
No
simply
need.
any
No,
content
let's not
in
have
your
that,
mind
please.
that you hold to be true. So I believe
No.
that Donald Trump is president of the United States because I believe it is true that Donald Trump is president of the United States.
Yeah, but you can actually confirm that is true.
Have you done it
You can
yourself?
verify it.
Have you done it yourself, Arwen? Have you
Faith has
confirmed?
nothing to do with belief, dude. It's different.
Faith is a kind of belief. It is belief
No, it's
without
not.
evidence.
It's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. Where do you get this
it's not.
definition? Where do you get this
Faith
definition?
is trust.
You just
Faith
made
is
this up.
trust on that which you cannot
You're
confirm.
pulling this out of your ass, Brenda. Cite a
not.
source. Citation, please.
Paul, you're
Faith has-
making claims without substantiating them yourself. So don't come in here talking like that without any kind of source for yourself.
Who are you talking to?
Me?
Whoever has the username P, whoever has the face cam.
That's P. Mars.
Yeah, I don't know who he is. Whoever
Yeah,
that is.
I can cite a source.
I could go find a Webster source and use that for you. Faith does require belief, and so does observations. But the difference is that observations you can test repeatedly with scrutinized evidence, whereas with belief in religion is completely different. There's no evidence that God exists, and there's no evidence that he doesn't exist. There just doesn't exist evidence. It's all written in a fairy tale book. What I'm getting at is science is in the natural world. You can test science, and science is based on faith in, not faith, it's based on observations and the belief in those empirical observations, not faith as in trust.
Well, faith itself has two separate meanings. Words can have meanings that are not the same. So faith has one meaning, which is belief without evidence, and the other meaning is
It's not.
trust.
Where is that a meaning of faith?
Trust.
That's not a meaning
Would
of
you-
faith.
Would you
Brenda,
accept the Bible's
It's the
definition
colloquial
of
it's the
faith?
colloquial definition. It's how it's understood.
Would you accept the
No.
Bible's definition of faith?
Let's hear it.
Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1, the whole chapter is about faith. And it starts off by saying that faith is what you hope for. Faith is believing things you can't see, but based on evidence. It actually uses the word evidence. And then the Apostle Paul, if he actually wrote the book, presents people acting in faith because they had evidence.
So Brenda's definition is almost textbook, word for word, what the Bible says. That's brilliant.
But then there's blind credulity as well.
The difference is it's the credibility of the evidence presented. So you ask questions.
Can y'all hear me? Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. You ask questions about things like faith and religion and observation, and then it comes down to scrutinizing the evidence that's presented, not playing a semantics game on what the damn word means.
I agree. Hey, vegan. Good to have you.
Hey.
When evidence is presented, it should be scrutinized.
Yeah, it should. Absolutely. That's why science has worked for the last 2,500 years.
Yeah, so when a photograph is being presented, let's scrutinize it.
Well, okay. Well, then bring that photograph up and we'll look at it, because I happen to be a ball earther. I'm not a flat earther.
That's good. Let's get into science in the last couple of 100 years. The funny thing is, there's been a lot of theories that are accepted by science, and then at some point, conflicting evidence basically pops up, and then science is changed, and they change the theory, they change the baseline assumptions, and this happens constantly because science is just a process of trying to figure out how it is supposed to work, and you never really get there. And the same goes for the ball. You don't have any real proof for it.
That's a really bad.
The whole basic assumption just keeps migrating because
you're on the right track.
People figure out through experimentation and through actual proof that's not working. It's not working, so they just change and adapt the theory and try to figure out, okay, how is it working then?
Science
happens constantly.
Arwen, science is more than just a scientific method. Science is hypotheses, evidence, and conclusion. Now, within that, you can do the experiment, you can do the scientific method, but there's other ways of proving things. If it mathematically fits, if it mathematically aligns with the other science presented, whether it be electrodynamic or magnetic, whatever that math to be related to, that's another explanation by proof. So it's not just the scientific method, if that's what you're trying to get at.
Well, that proves things.
Well,
So you're saying the mathematics, well, you could apply that to space and things that are absolutely intangible, you'll never ever verify, travel to, experience.
They're not,
but you
they're
can
not
apply
intangible.
the maths to it, right?
We have an understanding of space, and in quantum mechanics, it just differs based
on
how
do you have an understanding of space?
That's incorrect. We don't.
You've just done it straight away. So you're guilty of that straight away. You're saying, well, we can work it out, we can calculate it, we've got the numbers, we've got the maths, and we have an understanding of space. Oh, right.
That's incorrect.
Do you?
Yeah, but that's all a lot of filled in information using mathematics to make it appear to fit.
It's not
the
it's not to
mathematic
make
models,
it
but there's no confirmation of these things.
There is confirmation.
The
idea of
the difference
space
is the difference is that
definitely
math.
been made to appear to fit. Do you know how many times the distance to the sun has been changed to
Yes,
fit the
because
numbers?
hang on. It's because we've had better, more accurate methods of measuring the distance. Like right now, we use radio time delay, which is where you shoot out a radio wave, and we know the constant speed of light based on lasers and using spectrometers. But
not really.
Well, you say not really, and then you don't provide any substance.
Well, mind you, that your idea of light is basically a square circle. It's a particle and a wave at the same time. That's the modern paradigm of what light is. That makes no sense.
No, that's not true.
No, that's not true.
That's exactly
it's
what
not
it
true.
is.
No,
it's a duality.
It
If
exists.
you look at the modern paradigm of what light is, it's a duality. That makes no sense.
That's not true. That's not close to
That's what I'm.
Hey, look it up yourself.
I understand. I understand
Okay,
quantum
then-
mechanics. So I'm telling you that with my understanding of quantum mechanics, light exists in superposition until it's measured in any means. Until it's
Elaborate on that for me. What is superposition?
Superposition means it exists both as a particle and a wave. And
there you go.
There we go.
But, no,
Square
let me
circle.
finish. Let me finish.
Square
At the same
Lovely
time,
cornering
not
there,
a square circle.
vegan.
That's
I love
geometry is completely out of it. It's a transverse wave, and it exists both as a particle and a wave at the same time until observed, depending on the measurement.
That was his point. That was exactly the point he just made. That was his point.
It collapses at one point.
It's not a logical contradiction.
No, that's a square circle. It exists as a square circle until somebody looks at it.
No, it's not.
Exactly a square circle.
No, it's not. That's why in the double slit circle, the fringe pattern differences or depends on the interference and how it's measured. That has nothing to do with squares and circles.
Yeah, because you're saying it's both things at one time. That's a square circle. And I don't see how you can't connect the dots.
Let me guess. Do you believe in are you one of those people that thinks that that the light is all electrical and whatnot, and thinks that the aether exists?
I don't know what light is, but I know it's not a square circle.
You just said it was a square circle, so you just confirmed what I said by saying
that's
it's
the
not
modern
a square
paradigm.
circle.
The modern paradigm is a square circle.
It's not a paradigm. We in quantum mechanics we understand what it is.
No, you have no idea what it is.
We do know what it is.
Oh, are you?
We've used tests and we've used experiences.
Are you a
Light is
scientist?
all about pathways.
Like the delayed time quantum
assumption
eraser
that light is a particle.
Here's a great one. The
presumption
delayed
that
Arwen.
very
The
hard
delayed
to
time quantum eraser experiment. It's where you take a light and you shoot it off, and then it goes through two slits, and it depends on the interference pattern, and you can either observe it as a wave or with wave effects, or as a particle, depending on the physical properties. But at the same time, it depends on how you look at it, and that gets really complicated.
We're all familiar with the double slit
straight
experiment.
line or in a
Not always true.
pattern.
Gravitational lensing
Doesn't
is
prove that it's then a particle. It just proves that the wave function collapses.
no. What proves that it's
Yes,
a particle?
that is the official
No,
definition.
what proves that it's a
Wave
particle is
function
that it has physical
collapses.
properties
Doesn't
like
prove that it's
vibrational
actually
energy, different
become a
things.
particle now.
I hope you're all enjoying the debate thus far. We've got about an hour left on this live stream. If you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and a link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you're currently watching, then click the link in the info box to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show, as sharing the show increases the live audience, of course, and this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. There is approximately 1 hour left on this live stream.
And you have to burn down all vacuum chambers.
Buoyancy does not
you haven't
exist
done
without
that.
gravitational acceleration.
Gravity makes more sense.
Cannot. Yeah,
Gravity is a ghost force.
Gravitational pull.
Hey,
It's
You have-
literally a
here's the
ghost
thing.
force.
So is
Buoyancy-
density and buoyancy.
You probably believe in buoyancy. Yeah, buoyancy cannot
A ghost
exist
force that
or
doesn't make sense.
calculated without gravitational
yeah,
acceleration.
that's correct. That is absolutely
The force of buoyancy is density times volume times g, which is mass times gravitational acceleration. So you come in here parroting that buoyancy exists when you're parroting that gravity exists.
Yeah, but
Because
that does not
relation
prove
for buoyancy
that
does not
gravity is
exist
caused by
without
gravitational
gravitational
pull. It
acceleration.
just proves that gravity is a constant.
The
that
gravity is not a
exists,
constant.
That can be deduced
not a
by
constant.
how
That
matter
depends on-
responds
it
in
depends
this
radially on the
environment.
object.
Doesn't prove that it's being caused by gravitational pull at all. It just
So you're
proves
saying
that
that's a
it's
constant.
there.
So
it's
you're
not
just
measurable as a force.
you're doing a double negative. You're saying it does exist and then it doesn't in your same sentence, Arwen.
No.
back
I
and
know.
said.
I'm not doing that at all.
Exactly
I'm
are. You just
saying
said
that
gravity is
gravity
constant.
exists. It's just not a force because it doesn't leave.
It is a
any-
force.
No, it's not
Yes, it is.
gradual. It doesn't have all the elements that.
If you want to look
forces
at it,
do
it's an
have.
acceleration between mass energies.
Arwen
You've got
believes
it's
in
radial
gravity.
acceleration of mass energies.
Did I just hear that? You believe in gravity, Owen?
Yeah, he just said he believed in gravity and then denied it. It's a double
No,
negative
I
you
did
just
not.
said.
I said it's
But
not
I'm pointing-
gravitational
you did.
pull. I'm just saying that gravity is the name that was given to the
You
effect.
just said
the
gravity was
constant
constant.
of
Arwen.
things falling. It is the effect
Yes.
that causes the heavy to divide from the light
Gravity
through
is
We have a,
buoyancy
we have a
and
reason
density.
for the ghost
Ah.
force, don't we? Mass attracting
We
mass.
call
You
it-
don't.
No, that's not
You have
what
no
I
reason
know. That's
for
gravity.
That's the theory of gravitational pull that has been
Yeah, that
grafted
hasn't been
onto
proved. And see, the issue
measurable
with gravity is
constant of
the issue with
gravity.
gravity is it doesn't seem to work on a macro scale because when we look out to space, we have to invent dark matter, and it also doesn't work on a micro scale because that's why we have quantum mechanics.
No, in the macro scale,
those are the theoretical elements
macro
that
scale
tie in with the gravitational
if
pull
it worked
theory.
if it worked on a macro scale, we would not be we would have to invent dark matter, dark energy, and all this to compensate for what we see.
Because we
It's
can
because
still
of gravity that we know dark matter exists.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Sorry,
Yeah,
have you
that's
ever
right.
encountered any
No,
dark
that
matter?
just creates more ghost
No,
forces.
it's right because
That's more ghost forces. That's what that is.
No, that's we know that because
some
gravity
forces
exists,
are-
dark matter
are hard to
exists.
see,
No,
Ghost-
that's
And here's how we
ghost
know.
forces
on the
and clouds
assumption
to
that
make the math
gravity
work
is
out.
caused by gravitational pull, and that necessitates
density of
the
buoyancy is a ghost
existence
force,
of
so
dark
stop saying the
matter
word
to
ghost force.
compensate.
In 2013,
Okay.
there were scientists that were studying the Bullet Cluster, which is a group of galaxies, and there was light being not bent but being accelerated. I'm not going to get into that. That gets complicated. Quantum
Wait,
mechanics.
there was light. Wait, hold on. There was light being accelerated. How do you know
But
this?
a different angle using.
Wait, no. On what? No. On how do you know it was being accelerated? I would like to understand this.
Acceleration isn't just it's a constant speed, but acceleration also it's a vector quantity. So if it's changing direction, if it's changing direction at a constant speed, it's still acceleration. So
which is predicated that photons is a packet of energy that's a wave in a particle at the same time, correct?
Yeah, you're explaining quantum mechanics.
Oh, so basically this is predicated on square circles too. So go ahead, keep going.
Not square circles.
Yes,
That's
I don't think our understanding of light is good, and I don't think our understanding of gravity is good. But you can go ahead and keep explaining.
I'm telling you what the experiment is. Let me finish, and then we can get back to.
Go ahead.
Your
so who did the
scientific
experiment?
ignorance
Who did
there,
the experiment?
Okay, so basically what happened is they couldn't see behind this giant thermal cloud of helium and nitrogen gas that was from a what do you call it? A supernova. So what they did was they used the light that was being bent from around this giant superheated gas. It was massive. It created a lot of gravity, and it was pulling the light around it, basically.
A lot of presumptions.
And they used it to
Yeah, it is.
Let me finish. And they used They used it to accurately map the rest of the bullet cluster, or the rest of the galaxies that were within that little cluster of galaxies. And we used it, and the Hubble Space Telescope took a photo of it. I don't know where the photo is. I could literally just look up bullet cluster photo and find it. It's that easy.
It's a fascinating story tale. That's all I'll say.
So basically,
not a story tale.
Yeah, it is.
Not a story
So
tale.
basically, they took
a science fiction
quantum
story.
mechanic properties to understand the rest of the bullet cluster.
So basically, they took a picture, applied their knowledge of square circles and ghost forces, and then came up with the postulation, and then came up with some Kool-Aid to which you drank.
The reason you're sitting on your chair right now, not on the ceiling, is a ghost force. So
you drank the Kool-Aid. Keep drinking the Kool-Aid.
Never drank the Kool-Aid. I'm explaining to you what they did. And you're attempting to use an argument from analogy, which is not the strongest argumentation.
You're just using ghost forces.
You're also
a lot of
not making an
presumptions
argument
of how that worked and what that was and all of that stuff.
You're also making a bunch of assertions without really any substance. You're saying, "Oh, it's
that's exactly what you just did. A lot of assertions without any actual.
I gave you an assertion that had the quantum mechanics in it. And that
I've studied why we postulate dark matter exists. Sean Carroll literally described dark matter as invisible, collisionless particles. How in the world do you find invisible, collisionless particles?
We're still discovering that as we speak.
You are.
Okay. So I guess when things go over the horizon on the flat Earth, they're actually disappearing because invisible, collisionless particles. That's what's covering them up.
No, because
you can use that to explain anything. That's a cop-out answer.
No, it's not. The Earth is.
Okay, hold on. How do you falsify invisible, collisionless particles? How do you falsify that?
Well, it depends.
Moment of silence.
Well,
there you go.
I never gave you a moment of silence. Don't change the subject. I have time to think. So do you.
Okay.
You've had time to think while I'm speaking. So
okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
And I just gave it to you, and you interrupted me.
Yes, I'm sorry. I apologize.
It depends. It depends on the variables. We assume it to be dark matter. That's the name we gave it because of gravity. Now, it could be some other we actually think dark matter is an axion or a WIMP force or a weak interacting massive particle, but that gets into the quantum mechanics of it.
That's all very interesting theoretics, but how do you prove
No.
there?
Which one is it?
Yeah,
you just
wait,
said
hold on,
you
hold on.
think
How do
it's
you
one of.
answer the
You just
question?
named 3 things.
How do you falsify?
I told you that falsifying it depends on the way you experiment with it.
Yeah, but how do
You're laughing, but you're not
prove
hearing what I'm saying.
And then you
I'm
try to-
saying that
okay.
I'm saying that it depends on the measurements you use and how you measure it. It's the same thing
Okay,
with the
give me
light,
an
right?
experiment that could falsify it.
Depends on, again, it depends on the experiment, but if you go to CERN,
Yeah, it does.
it depends on how you measure gravity or how you measure the Higgs boson emitting a mass. It depends on a bunch of things. So
You
it's not just.
literally have no. I'm sorry to cut you off, but you literally have no idea what you're talking about. You are
I
literally just
actually
parroting
do.
what you. No, you have no idea.
I actually do, but you have no idea what you're talking about.
The issue here is even scientists themselves will tell you, yeah, you can't really falsify
No,
dark
what
matter.
he's
and dark
saying,
energy.
what he's
Actually,
literally
you
saying
can
no
is
idea
falsify
that
dark.
how
You
to
can
prove that it
falsify dark
exists
matter
is
if
by
there are other
rearranging
variables.
all the theoretical systems that then
When
supposedly
you're cutting out,
prove
bud.
that it exists. So you
You're
can't
cutting out.
prove
I
it
can't hear you.
exists. There is no way to confirm it except through theoretical models. That's
No,
what you're saying.
there is a way to confirm it because we can observe it when we observe the
Oh,
interactions
yeah. Oh,
between light and
really? You
gravitational
can
acceleration.
observe invisible collisionless particles. How do you do that?
Right, hang on.
By smashing atoms together in a particle
just to say
accelerator.
something
How we
here.
found Higgs boson.
It's basically
How we
everything
found
that you've
Hubble,
referenced, the
Stream
Hubble
Core. It's how we
telescope,
found.
CERN, everything that you've mentioned,
laughing, but
right?
you're
Every single
laughing
thing
in your
you've
own
mentioned
ignorance.
is
You assume
second-hand
you're over there
evidence from
assuming that
people
light is
that you
a
would never
square in
meet
a
in your
square
entire
circle.
life.
No, that does not. That's no relevant.
Now to Ruhif for the super chat. Much obliged.
Let's get back to flat Earth because this is all quantum theory and quantum mechanics. Let's get back to flat Earth.
Well, okay, let's get back to flat Earth. The Rumpus said that if we had a big enough telescope and the weather conditions were just right, we could see our own arse in a telescope. Do you believe that's correct?
No.
No. It's ridiculous, isn't it? But the maths suggest that it is a possible outcome. If you had a big enough telescope and you looked out to sea,
Hello,
and the
the
weather
Rumpus,
conditions were
viewers.
just right,
Hello?
everything would be refracted enough for you to see your own arse in a telescope.
No, that's not true.
That was the condition on that was that the
Oh, why have
air
we
would have
lost
to be perfectly clear
half my guests been
and
kicked out? What's going on?
you would have to have specific atmospheric conditions and have to be.
That's annoying.
Yeah, that's what I've just said, Rumpus. I just said that.
Now, half the guests were kicked out, so I'm just going to start a new hangout.
Okay. I wonder who it was that joined that did that.
Preoccupied doing something else for about 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's nice that Rumpus has joined because the question simply was, did the panel believe that you could see your own arse in a telescope if the weather conditions were just right for refraction to be able to see around the entire Earth and you had a big enough telescope? And Rumpus came in and just basically said that's under the conditions that the conditions were just right, which is what I've just said. So
I see.
apparently the rest of the panelists don't agree with him because it is absurd, isn't it? I mean, I think that's why we did the video mocking him over that. Because it wasn't just the Rumpus who agreed. Who else was it?
I don't know if you're talking to me, Shane, but I'm distracted doing other things, sharing this link at the minute.
All right, okay. Anyway, back to PewDiePie. A bit of PewDiePie. I went back and I watched the video, and basically, they were talking about gravity, and that you don't feel the force of gravity in, like, people in Australia. The water isn't flying everywhere, you know, etc. So PewDiePie decided to stand on his head with a bottle to say, so if I drink it upside down, there is no way it should be able to enter my system. And then he said, over to you, flat earthers. Okay, so that's his way of proving gravity. So it's kind of ridiculous.
Oh, and by the way, I'd like to enter the field of being weird and say that in my model, in my theoretical model, you could actually, under the right conditions, see your own ass with the telescope in a looping system. Just saying.
So we can ridicule you too, that Jape, can we, Alwyn? You can see your own
but
ass
not around the curve. It's just in a straight line, and after the loop, the vision just moves on up to your own point. But yeah,
marvelous. Then you can see your own ass.
I love to insert those kind of things.
But this is the thing. It's mathematically possible, but it's absolutely ridiculous. It's like the guy that was just talking about the Hubble telescope was looking at light that bent around a nebula and a cluster of gas and all this. How does he know?
Yeah, there's a lot of presumptions about how that what even was there and how that works, and it's just amazing how he knows all those details just from gazing at it at a distance and not actually being able to confirm that it's physically there or what it even is.
NASA could put out that they'd seen some aliens found in some distant galaxy, that the light was bent around a nebula, and these guys would believe it.
Yep.
These guys would believe it. They would suck it up and believe it. And no matter how ridiculous and retarded it sounds.
Yeah, and I love that guy right before I got sniped actually said that you could prove the existence of these particles. You can actually touch them. You could measure them. These invisible collisionless, and then proceeded to continue to explain that you actually need to prove them by adapting the theoretical model that would basically take them in as a part of it, which is not physically proving it. I love it.
When they were talking about dark matter, they said, we know we can prove there's dark matter there because we can't find it. So we know it's there because we cannot find it. We don't know what it is. We don't know what kind of this matter is. We don't know what it does, anything about it, but we know it's there. We know
what
it's
he
there.
said is he can prove it exists because it has to be there to account for the flaws in the theoretical model. That's literally what he said. He didn't even notice it.
It reminds me of a bit in Red Dwarf when the female computer that runs the ship, called Holly, is trying to navigate through a load of black holes, and she's doing a bad job. I can't remember the exact plot, but either way, she says, well, the thing about space is it's black. And the thing about a black hole, the most distinctive thing about a black hole, the thing that primarily makes it a black hole, is it's black. So how are you supposed to see them?
Love it.
But what they don't understand is they're getting all this information from places like CERN and Hubble, so through NASA, etc. And they don't realise that these are the guys that are pulling the wool over their eyes. And this is what we're trying to say, and then they come out with new information and say, "Oh well, we've got a new image here of a satellite passing Pluto, and you got Pluto in the background, and you've got the satellite in the foreground. Yeah, brilliant. Look at that." And then you say to them, "Well, who took the photograph then? Who took the photograph of the satellite in the near ground and Pluto in the background?" And then it gets the cogs thinking, and they think, well, actually, that's impossible unless there was two satellites that were sent out and one was taking a picture of another one.
Hey, Sleeping Warrior, good to have you. No sound from you if you're trying to talk. We can't hear you.
Hey, Anthony, by the way.
If it is Anthony, your friend Brent.
That was him. I saw
he had his camera on. Just presumably sorting his mic out.
Right.
Is my mic sorted out yet?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Because I was asking those guys questions. Apparently, I was having trouble. I did update Google when I got off because I haven't been on Hangouts in forever. We quit using it and started using Skype. Anyway, with your beach scene there, I was asking, okay, with sand on the beach, why isn't there 1,000 little planets being formed by all that sand attracting to each other? And I've been told 1,000,000 times, well, that's because you're in the Earth's gravity well, and they won't ever attract each other because the Earth's gravity well overpowers that. Well, then why hasn't the moon been sucked away by the sun, 1,000 years ago?
Yeah, that's the whole thing, isn't it?
My microphone's working, yeah?
Yes, you are, sir. How are you?
I'm very good, sir. Nice to see you.
You too.
Just with regards to one of the infinite laws of science, they say for everything there is an equal and opposite reaction. What's the opposite reaction, or what's the equal or opposite reaction to the rotation of the Earth? Anybody got any ideas for that one?
Yeah. How about centrifugal force tearing the Earth apart?
We can't measure any, though, can we?
Nope.
But even so, if it was there, did you say centrifugal force?
Yeah, if the Earth was spinning, then the centrifugal force would be very.
That's not the equal and opposite reaction, is it? That's the consequence of. That's a function of.
He's saying right. That's what I think he's misunderstood your question. You're phrasing it for a glober, and Armin's giving you a flat Earth answer, which is to say, well, it's ludicrous.
Oops.
Yeah. So what's the equal and opposite reaction to the spin of the Earth? Obviously, there is none.
No. Well, it's like when we. Now, Brenda's been on the scene a long time, so she should have not had scientific proof to present to Nathan. When we asked her, she produced an image of the Earth from space and said
it was from 1966, though, Nancy.
And they were bouncing lasers apparently off the moon in 1966.
I don't know why she thought that was an important fact.
No.
I don't think that she was really being serious when she presented that as evidence.
I wanted you to have testicles over toes. I wanted you to have toes over the fire with the water that was being drunk upside down, because I haven't seen the video. But if the claim was that water finds its resting point by drinking it upside down, and that proves that
it was to do with gravity.
Well, I heard Dawn saying that it was he was trying to say that water doesn't find its level set or its resting point or some words to that effect. And my instant thought was, how the hell was that proven? Was he able to see through his belly?
Well, if you go to like 3 minutes 30 to 4 minutes 30 or something, it was in that section when he's talking about gravity, and he decides to, because somebody mentioned that the Australians don't have the water flying out of their toilets due to gravity, etc., etc. Basically mocking the Australian, flat earther mocking. So he decided to mock him by saying, well, if I stand on my head and drink water, there's no way it should be able to enter my system.
You should have had her over the toes, over the coals of that one, because she accused Arwen of being a liar, and it was actually Ranty's point that was brought up. So she's not able to comprehend who's saying what. And secondly, whatever the point was that was being said should have been reasserted and asked Brenda to explain whether or not she agrees with the point that the guy made, Cutie Pie or whatever. Because ultimately she'd have to agree with him and look like a dick, or dismiss him and make him look like a dick. But either way, she was cornered, and you should have done it. Should have had her.
Yeah, well, I tried listening back to the video, but if you're on Skype and at the same time you're trying to listen through on a different, you're trying to listen to a YouTube video at the same time, of course I couldn't hear a thing. I couldn't hear anything he was trying to say, so I had to drop out of the chat. Sorry?
If you can get a set of headphones, you can get your Skype call to go through one set of speakers, and you can have the Hangouts going through the other set.
But then you have a delayed
that was
thing. That's not very handy.
For our show in the morning when I'm trying to play music or anything, a clip or something, we always get that rumbly crap going on under it. So I've tried every trick in the book, man. We still haven't figured it out. Somebody suggested some kind of virtual audio cable. I tried that, and it just took over my whole system. If you guys have any tricks, please let me know.
Yeah, man. Voice meter banana.
Which one is it? What?
Voice meter banana.
All right, I'm writing that down right now.
I'm going to put it on screen so you can go back to the Hangout. You won't be able to see it from the Hangout because you're obviously in it, and I'm putting it up on screen for the people in the Hangout to see. But what I use to control the show is called Voice Meter Banana. And essentially I've got my mic, the Hangout, Skype, and system sounds all on a separate level, on a separate slider, so I can isolate each and every one of them and mix them between each other, so that I can obviously, at the moment we've got, I think Shane is on Skype, and then we've got Arwin, Sleeping Warrior, and we're all on Google Hangouts. But if you can just say something, Shane.
Hello, 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 hello.
And then if you can say something, Walt.
Hello.
So you've got them both on different lines, and I'm obviously on this first line. I'm not going to, but if I was to play some music, you'd see it on this line. But it just means that I can select where they're going to go, who's going to get what goes out to the audience, ultimately speaking, and there's no feedback. And in terms of what the music sounds like, it sounds exactly the same as it does if it's coming through your speakers. There's no interference whatsoever. But the way to do that, it's not just one virtual audio cable, it's 3. So I've got a virtual audio cable for Google Plus, but that's the only way to do it. I mean, I messed around with this on my Oakley Chord channel. When I do crap like this, it's tedious, and sometimes it takes me weeks, but I film it all. So often I'll do a live stream when I'm trying to figure out something like the desk, and with all the feedback going and the audience going, no, it's feeding back. And Patricia even helped me with the desk. I think Patricia and Zoe both joined and were my guinea pigs. So I think, I had Zoe on Skype and Patricia on Google, and me on, obviously, my mic, so I could figure out what was causing what to feed back. But eventually, after probably a week plus of doing it, found one video that was about
hello again.
Hello, Dawn. About 10 minutes long, and it just within 10 minutes of watching this video, I had everything working. So I'll send you the link to that guy's video.
For sure. That's so awesome. I should have known to ask the man here. I don't know why. We've just been, now don't get me wrong, Josh has done incredible stuff with from where we started to where we've come to now, man. It has been a drastic difference, but we're still having some issues. So that sounds like the last secret thing we needed.
It was the hardest thing I did by a stretch. The hardest thing to get right was the audio. And you can probably, I'm sure everyone on this panel's watched Globebusters. When they have Skype calls, they get feedback and such. Well, I had the same exact issues, and I was determined to get it to the point where I could have Skype talking to Google and be able to play music. I play a little clip at the beginning of each of these videos now, and have none of it feedback, none of it distort, all of it be clear. And it like I say, within, I reckon, an hour of a 10-minute video, you'd have it all working, downloaded, installed, and functioning correctly.
I'm excited. This is going to be my weekend project. By next Tuesday's show, when we hit TFR, it's going to be amazing.
Cool.
So what do you think about this PewDiePie releasing this video the day after Patricia Steere and Mark Sargent made a big hoo-ha about millennials? 40% of them don't believe it's a ball. Do you think that was a coincidence that it was released the following day?
Who cares? I want to know what Dawn thinks about the water point that was being made.
He was just showing that water doesn't always find its level because you can turn it upside down and make shapes with it.
Yeah, so I think that's later on in the video. Earlier on in the video.
Well, he's a comedian, isn't he? And flat earthers say water always finds its level. So he just turned his bottle upside down and shows that it doesn't.
No, he said, if I drink this upside down, there is no way it should be able to enter my system. And he was referring to that as to gravity. That was his exact quote. And it's around about between 3 minutes 30 and 4 minutes 30. But a bit later on, he does go on about water finding its level. But this was an earlier quote from him.
See, Dawn, this sounds a little bit like, who was it that most recently totally misrepresented me? Jeremy. Sounds like he says one thing in a totally different context to what it's being reported back at.
Well, that's my memory. Maybe Randy's right and I'm wrong.
So if he drinks water upside down, Dawn, what does that prove from a ball Earth perspective and the shape of the Earth? Does it prove anything, something, or nothing?
It proves water makes many shapes and doesn't always find its level.
But how would you know by swallowing water upside down? Can you see through his belly?
Well, it's not finding its level, is it, when it's tipped upside down and pouring down his throat?
Yeah, but there is a force being exerted on it. It's supposed to be water at rest, right?
Well, yeah, he didn't do the water at rest point. He just said it doesn't always find its level. Because you can shake a bottle around, can't you? Shake a bottle full of water.
You agree with being a German?
falls to rest, then it finds its level.
Yeah, but he wasn't talking about at rest. He was just saying it doesn't always find its level.
Right, can we get this actual clip on the screen and let's play it? Listen to what's being said. And
I'm not playing a PewDiePie quick clip. No
that'll be
chance.
funny. Put the comedian on screen taking the piss out of Flat Earth. Yeah, that'll be funny.
Yeah, come on, let's play it.
No, I just don't want to get a copyright strike. I don't want to play it. No way.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point.
I don't think you'll get a copyright strike for taking the piss out of Dawn.
Oh, why didn't you try it in your channel?
Because it's for discussion and fair critique, isn't it?
I'll look later and see if Ranty's right or if I'm wrong.
Okay.
It's not a big point anyway. It's just him making fun of your theory, that's all. And making thousands of pounds off it.
Yeah, but I'm more interested in whether you agree with him or not, or is it literally humour? If it's humour, that will be your escape route.
Yeah, I don't really agree with anything apart from Flat Earth being silly. That's the part I agree with.
Okay, so when we've been mocking you for the last 2 or 3 weeks, asking you to produce evidence, scientific proof of the curvature of the Earth.
Yeah, but that's your job, isn't it? Really, if you want to find it,
I love it. That's your job. Oh, really? So we're here to prove.
You're trying to prove the alternative reality. We've been stuck on this reality for 500 years. You're trying to prove an alternative.
We started out trying to prove the ball. That's where we all started. Was going, well, this is silly. It'll be easy to find this ball because we've seen it 1,000 times and it's right out there. And guess what? We went looking for it, and 3 years later, for myself, I've still not seen that proof.
No, me neither.
Same here. 3 years on, no proof, Dawn. So that's 3 years from our side, right?
Well, we have pictures from space, don't we, of Earth being a sphere? You don't have pictures from space of Earth.
As soon as I can get that GoFundMe crowd,
we have thousands and thousands of pictures of spherical Earth.
To get that curvature for myself, then
there is no pictures of a flat Earth from space.
Sorry, just a quick straw poll on the panel. Quick straw poll. Who on the panel has taken a picture?
Do you have any photos from space of a flat Earth?
From balloons? I can send you plenty. Ready? Hang on, give me a few minutes.
Do you have any photos from space yourself? Real photographs?
What about photos that have been verified
telling
as
you
like real
they are
photos?
photographs?
Not necessarily photos from space.
Or the pictures or the images?
Well, real or not, we have them from space, and they show a spherical Earth.
Yeah, but nobody can verify that they're true.
You don't have a photo of the whole flat Earth from space, do you?
Yeah, but nobody can verify that them pictures were taken
don't
from.
have a, you don't have
but at least we have them.
No, you don't. You can't verify that they're credible.
But
Yeah,
it's
I can
better
make
than not
amazing
having any
drawings that
It's better than
look
not having any.
like a photo from space, but doesn't actually make that proof. It's not.
Whereas you have none, no pictures of a flat Earth.
Neither do
Well,
you.
I can definitely make a CGI picture from a flat Earth from space.
I'm sure that will look really good.
Yeah, it probably will. Hey, a good artist can make anything look really, really realistic. Doesn't make it real though, just as the ball pictures from space.
Just fantasy.
May look really real to you, but yeah, you're not going to be able to confirm it in person. You're going to have to trust the NASA people.
Yeah, faith, trust, and knowledge all together makes a spherical Earth.
No, that makes a belief. Faith,
some of it's knowledge.
Yeah, but faith, trust, and a little bit of knowledge makes a belief.
Well, tell us why did they do the Antarctic Treaty then? Come on, Dawn.
They're all there. Faith, trust, and knowledge.
Tell us about the Antarctic Treaty. Why did all these governments sign up to the Antarctic Treaty? Why did they all willingly say that they wouldn't try and lay claim to the Antarctic?
I think we should stay on the pictures from space point, to be honest.
I want to change subjects for a bit. We haven't talked about this for a bit. So tell me, why do you think America and China and Britain and all that would all agree to sign the Antarctic Treaty and not have a little war over that piece of land over there, seeing as it's valuable with resources and minerals and all that kind of stuff? Why do you think they would do that?
I'm not so sure. I mean, I'm quite interested in the treaty. I want some of you guys to go out there and get it on film. You know, the treaty stopping you from getting out.
But do you think it's suspicious though? That's what I'm asking you. Is the treaty suspicious?
So the ice wall's unverifiable because you can't go there.
What was the guy's name? Charles Janhool, Charles Andhoy? I can't remember his name, but he got stopped.
At least we have pictures from space, whereas you don't have pictures of the edge, do you?
Sorry, carry on, Walt. I was just frantically searching for that guy's name too while you were doing it. So
I can't remember the pronunciation. Charles Antoy, something like that. It's that kind of name. Antoy, that just seems right. Let me see.
If you just tell us what happened to him.
He left from South America numerous times trying to reach Antarctica on his own and was arrested every time. Every time.
Yeah, I remember
And
that
I
story.
believe
It
he
was
is
in the paper.
currently no longer with us, if I'm not mistaken. Give me a second. I'm still clicking away here. I was in another conversation trying to line up some stuff for the show later today. Sorry, multitasking is not my strong suit. That must not be it. I will find that name, guys. Carry on without me for a minute.
Is the link refreshed? Because Lottie's asking to join.
No, I haven't put it out yet.
Okay.
So, Dawn, you know, the UK has colonies still throughout the world, you know, like Argentina, and Gibraltar. And we've had wars, you know, and threatened wars. We threatened Spain over Gibraltar, and we threatened, we had a war with Argentina, Argentina over the Falklands. So, with that bearing in mind, over these little poxy territories, why do you think they would sign the Antarctic Treaty not to go and lay claim to that, you know, the king and queen and all that? You know, why did we sign away our ability to go and lay claim to that?
I'm not so sure. I don't know. It is slightly suspicious.
Yeah,
And just as a side note, I was correct with that bizarre name. Jarl Antoy was definitely a Norwegian adventurer. And
Do you have footage of him being stopped at the edge?
I will find it for you here just 1 second, sir.
That'd be interesting to watch, wouldn't it?
I want to know why it is that Dawn is capable of critically thinking about flat Earth proofs and claims, but he can't critically think about his own ball Earth proofs and claims.
I can.
Okay. I hear that a lot from ball Earthers, but I don't actually see anybody of them doing it. I do have one quick question for you, though, Dawn.
Okay.
I heard that you were being fed by the background. You're referring to they are saying that. Who was it specifically that was...
They kept asking me, but I only wanted to do that one question. I think it is quite bad etiquette to read other people's stuff.
Oh, right. So you'd agree with Nathan when he criticised Cat Earth for publishing a private document that Cat knew was private, that was not part of the public broadcast then?
No, that's different.
How is it different?
Well, it's up to Cat.
Oh, right. But when other people are saying stuff that's private, you protect them. But when it's Cat and it's against Nathan, you won't protect him.
No, I was saying Chris was asking me just to say to Nathan, if he's looking for Earth curve, what is his variable, independent variable? What independent variable does he want to use while looking for curvature?
I can answer that straight away. So I'm not interested in presenting you with what I will accept. I'm interested in you presenting something to me and then me scrutinizing it.
So you want us to come up with the independent variable?
Wow. You mean you want me to present you with evidence? Yeah, that's right, Dawn. You present it, I'll scrutinize it.
Being honest, I don't
going to win us over.
understand
Something that's going to make us change
that's why I
from
stopped
being
reading
a flat
Chris's
earther
comments.
to a ball earther. Give us something that's going to make it, and we're just going to go, wow, it must be a ball.
What about the two celestial poles?
Proof.
Oh,
what do they prove? What do they prove, Dawn?
That they prove, like, I don't know if they fully prove, but they suggest a spinning sphere. Whereas on a flat Earth,
they suggest that the heavenly globe is a spinning sphere. That's
on a flat Earth, you have one tunnel above the north, and then you have very messy multiple tunnels, infinite tunnels all around the edge.
Right. So how do you know that's not the case, though? Where's the evidence that?
Well, I want you to explain why and how that happens, because we have an explanation.
Well, we need evidence.
Because we're on a sphere spinning.
Yeah, but we need evidence to be able to ascertain the facts. And the first position is your claim is that the rotation point is south of everybody, and everybody sees the same set of stars. Yet there is no evidence to prove that that is even the case. That is an assumption based in logic that you guys accept.
There's quite a lot of
zero evidence to prove that it's true.
There's quite a lot of evidence. Nathan has seen them himself.
I've seen evidence of rotation points. The point is that everybody sees them at the same time when looking south. There is no evidence to prove that anybody sees the same set of stars in the first place and that they're even at south. But everybody accepts it because it's a logical assumption based on deduced perception.
I have faith that they're there because many people say they see them. And I've seen many photos.
Are they south for all observers at the same time? That's the question.
Yeah, I have faith that they are, yeah.
Right, have you got any evidence for that, Faith?
I've got pictures.
Of people looking south at the same time?
No, of South Celestial Pole and both poles.
Yeah, but we need to see 2 observers in the south at the same time seeing the same set of stars.
But your friend Nathan's already seen them. So does he think that they were just there in his location?
He's seen them. He would have snapped on me and said, Sleeping Warrior, that's not correct. I've seen them. He has never once said that to me. So he's either hiding evidence or perhaps you might be mistaken.
Or he just wants you to with your point because it's cool.
No, not at all. He's asking you for something else. He's not saying go and observe the South Celestial Pole. That's not what he's asking. He's saying, can you get somebody in Australia and South America at the same time to prove that they've both got exactly the same stars in their field of view?
Yeah, I'm sure Globers will do that for you eventually.
Right, and until they do, that point that about the South Celestial stars proving anything is yet to be validated. The assertion in the first place needs to be validated, and it failed.
No, what's more likely to cause a second South Celestial Pole? A spinning globe or like infinite tunnels of stars above a flat Earth around the edge?
So what's more likely to cause points of light in the sky to rotate? Is it because you've got people antipode to you hanging on to the bottom of a spinning ball? Yeah, that seems really likely, Dawn. Yeah, I'll buy that in a heartbeat, mate.
Nathan, don't be silly. They'd be hanging upside down, wouldn't they, on a ball?
2 celestial points heavily suggests a spinning globe.
No, it doesn't.
Unexplainable.
It only suggests a spinning globe if it only suggests a globe if 2 observers, when looking south at the same time, see the same set of stars.
But you know that will happen, Riley. I know you do.
Well, let's see.
The celestial pole is seen 6 hours apart in South America, Africa, and Australia. So how does that happen on a ball?
Sorry?
They're seen 6 hours apart. 6 hours apart, 6 hours apart. Think it through. If it's all at the South Pole, it should all be seen at the same damn time, shouldn't it? One celestial point, just like Polaris, can be seen from my house. Anybody up north, anybody to the east of me, anybody to the west of me, we can all see Polaris, but they can't all see the crux at the same time. They see it 6 hours apart. Go check it. I have.
And here's the thing, though, Dawn. If the ballers did get that evidence to prove that there was 2 rotation points in the south, that means it's advantage ballers, and it comes up to the flat earthers to validate the science and the claim to see what happens when we then repeat the experiment, because that's what science is, right? Validation of experiment results.
So wouldn't you, if you're going to repeat it, why don't you do it first?
Well, it's you who's asserting that it's strong evidence of a ball. So why is it that you're putting it on our
I'm on here with you. I'm happily living with just that faith.
Yeah, but that's fine. I'm cool with anybody believing and having faith in whatever they like. If you want to believe you're on a ball, good for you. That's fine.
So you're presenting the show Flat Earth Debate, and I'm telling you why I have faith in a spinning globe, and you can't explain it on a flat Earth.
I don't have to I don't have to defend your faith. Your faith is your faith.
Best guy Riley is disputing that it happens when you've seen it yourself.
Right, but you're saying I've got faith that it does happen. I'm sure if someone went out and your words were, I'm sure someone will come and show this eventually.
Yeah.
Right, well, so you've got faith that it will happen. So you automatically, you're an auto-believer. They've said it happens. You don't have any proof of it, but you're content with your faith. Well, good for you, man. Hallelujah.
It strongly suggests the spinning globe.
Say it with me. It strongly suggests the globe.
So, do you believe that we have the South Celestial Pole on film from different places in the South already?
Amen, brother. Amen.
At different times. Do you believe we've already got that on film?
I believe.
Because we do. We have the South Celestial Pole on film.
We do. I believe.
Multiple places in the South.
I believe, Dawn. I believe. I'm with you. Praise.
Yeah, I've yet to confirm that, really. Because I've conflicting evidence of pictures of a suggested south rotation point of the globe of the heavens. I've also seen pictures and film both suggesting that it's more like a cup. So I'm even inconclusive in this concept.
Can I come back to Dawn on that point? I had to answer the phone, Dawn, otherwise I would have answered straight away.
Right.
Do I believe that there is that evidence that exists already? No, that's why I'm asking for it. If the claim
not simultaneously, separate times, obviously.
But it has to be simultaneously. It has to be due
No,
south.
I'm saying, do you believe we already have evidence from multiple places in the south?
At the same time, no.
At different times.
Right, and I don't. No.
That already makes flat Earth messy.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It has to be south.
So do you think there's a south celestial pole that moves around the edge?
The same set of stars.
Do you think it moves around the edge? The south celestial pole moves around the edge of flat Earth, and different people.
Who cares?
Different times.
It has to be. Listen, if there's some lensing effect going on, or there's something else going on that we cannot explain, then you guys will not be able to obtain this evidence. But guess what? If you guys do get this evidence, then it becomes advantage for ball earthers, and the flat earthers have then got to go and validate your experiment to see that it's true.
Well, you already
going to make the claim and then provide the evidence, and then we'll validate that evidence by doing the same experiment twice. So it'll be validated.
You didn't say advantage globe. You said you'll jump back to the globe if that happens.
Well, that would then be based on an unvalidated experiment, wouldn't it? We would validate it first, and then if that was validated up correctly, then I would jump on the ball side.
So the experiment's extended now for you to have to replicate it.
Not really. It has to be a scientific experiment, doesn't it? There has to be a validation of results, otherwise you guys could have faked it. It's that simple.
Look, guys, you can't even prove they're physical objects. You don't have any proof of that. Both of you, both circle centrists and globers, you don't have any proof of that. So it doesn't really matter in the long run what that shape of the heavenly globe or cup is. You don't have any proof that it is related to the shape of the earth. The only thing you got is the angular relation of the globe of the heavens in relation to the position on the earth. It doesn't prove the actual shape of it. You just don't have.
It strongly suggests.
Yeah, I know, but there's a lot of things that strongly suggest things. It's not proof. Like the refraction zone, that slant, it on a superficial note, it suggests some kind of curve. But when you actually look into it, when you actually start to do analysis and data gathering, then you start to find out that that suggestion is incorrect, that it's false, that it's not actually a curve. That's the whole point. So all these suggestions, it's a suggestion, and then you draw a conclusion and you believe that. It's not proof. It's not proof at all.
Right, Arwen's right. It is a suggestion and a belief. The point, though, guys, you guys making the assertion that we live on a ball and you're making the celestial sphere the explanation without proving the actual fundamental concept that is people seeing the same set of stars when looking south at the same time. That evidence does not exist. It must be south, it must be at the same time, and it must be two different continents.
You know, when I tell people that you're going to have to repeat the experiment, it might stop them doing it.
Well, if we validate, if the flat earthers validate the science for the ball earthers, there shouldn't be a single flat earther in existence that would still be on the same side. I don't see how there would be a flat earth explanation for it if two observers in the south looking south at the same time see the same set of stars. How is that possible?
I think Arwen might disagree with that.
I don't care.
It all depends on how literal you take the heavenly bodies, Riley.
Exactly.
Right, but ultimately there would have to be three people or two people facing opposite sides of the Earth to see the same set of stars, unless there was some kind of lensing effect going on, like some kind of, I don't know, some kind of projection or something. Even then, I can't see how that would be.
Theoretically, on your model, they'd be looking in opposite directions.
Listen, I'd jump sides. I've said I'd jump sides if you guys got the evidence to make your claim valid, and then we verified your experiment to see that it did what you guys prove it does, say it does.
Okay.
I'd be on your side.
Come on, Anthony, you jump sides to the globe based on heavenly phenomena. What about that missing curvature?
It doesn't, yeah, but ultimately, if they see the same set of stars from two observers in the south, it doesn't matter about the curve. Because the curve must be there if it curves round and bends back.
That is a very, very silly statement, Anthony. Come on.
No, I don't. Well, yeah, I think
the curve must be there. You're starting to sound a bit like Rumpus now.
It would have to be a curve and a ball of some kind. It would just mean that you'd have to be geocentric.
No, that's only if you presume that the heavenly bodies are literal physical objects and not holographic.
Right, but what would be the alternative explanation on a flat plane? How could that possibly happen if you got two guys in opposing continents looking south at the same time and seeing the same set of stars? Think about it.
Well, look into my model. I have a good explanation for that.
It's just how
that would work. It's not that difficult. You just have to deliteralize the physicality of the heavenly bodies, and just assume
and that's totally
for a moment that
normal,
it's a
Darwin, to
globe at
deliteralize
the
the
edge of
sky.
your vision.
Let's
then it
deliteralize
really
the
does
sky and
work
live
out.
like Arwen. Yeah, that
Oh.
sounds really nice.
Let's see a model for how that will be explained on anything else other than a ball.
Yeah, well, look into my Hangouts. I did actually point out how that works. So
okay,
I'm kind of disappointed that you don't.
Can you link me
realize
to that video, Arwen, where you explain two poles on a?
No, I'll be honest, Arwen, I'd be totally against you if you believed that this could be explained on a flat plane. I would be a baller.
Here's the link.
I can't see any logical reason.
You're arguing about
sorry.
The Earth is.
Bear with me, guys. Sorry.
Heavens are a ball.
Arwen.
But here's the thing, though.
Hold on. Arwen, have you got the link? Have you got the link to that video? And I'll stick it in the info box. I'll use this opportunity to plug Arwen. So if you've not subscribed to Arwen's channel already,
I'm gonna do a separate.
I'm trying to plug you, Arwen.
I want to see how you explain.
I'm really trying to plug you.
Poles on a flat Earth.
If you've not subscribed to Arwen's channel already, I'll stick a link below the video and I'll stick it in the chat once Arwen's stuck it up on screen, so you can go straight to him now, immediately, and subscribe to Arwen.
Do you think, Arwen, that deliteralizing the sky is like a sensible, logical thing to do?
Deliteralizing the physicality.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Heavenly
That's
bodies.
what I mean.
Yeah, it's like
you
not
think that's
presuming
logical and
they are
sensible?
physical, because they are actually holographic in nature, which
I agree
going
with
up high enough proves, because the stars disappear in all footage, even NASA's footage. So that's a great indicator that they are not physical bodies that are in literal positions, but they are only apparent bodies that are visible from the Earth, which means a holographic nature, which means non-physical.
That's a great way to keep your fantasy alive, Arwen.
Dawn, I agree with you. I agree with Arwen. The stars cannot be proven to be anything other than lights.
Right.
In any event, though, them lights cannot be explained on a flat plane if everybody looks south at the same time.
Unless it's holographic in nature.
There would have to be some really cool evidence to support a holographic explanation.
Yeah.
I've seen some interesting things in the sky. So.
Yeah, but not to explain 2 or 3 people looking in opposite directions, which is what you would do if you were in Argentina.
Everybody's got their own sun.
Dawn, do you accept, though, Dawn, let me ask, do you accept that if you guys didn't see the same stars when looking south at the same time, if one guy was looking southeast, the other guy was looking southwest, and the third guy happened to be looking south, then the same stars could be seen? That's not consistent with a ball, correct?
I guess it would need explaining somehow, like you say, yeah.
It'd have to be south.
I was talking to Chemo the other night about it, and I was thinking, even if we get this observation, a lot of flat earthers, people like Arwen, maybe some other flat earthers, they might say, well, all that is the same constellation seen twice at the same time.
Yeah, but if it's seen south...
Who cares?
If it's seen south at the same time, there's no way back for it on a flat plane.
Well, yeah, for logical people. But a lot of flat earthers aren't logical.
People that are based
in
on
a circle-centric concept, that is.
Well, I'll tell you what.
You don't have any proof that it is shaped like that, really.
Yeah, but that would
be
still
open for debate. We still have to do the measurements.
Yeah, why don't we ask the flat earthers on the panel? We've got Walt, we've got Adam, we've got Nathan, we've got myself, and we'll just leave Arwen out of it for the minute because we know his position.
I can pretend I'm a flat earther for the question. I can pretend I was a flat earther for the question too.
I don't believe looking up tells us what we're living on.
It does if everybody looks south at the same time.
You don't think it helps at all?
I don't care what goes on up there. I look what's down underneath my feet.
Okay, Rani's on Arwen. Rani says no.
What do you think, Walt?
I think that what I've seen in the sky tells me that no model I've been presented by science explains it at all.
Right,
that's all I can say.
If 2 observers in the south looking south at the same time, due south.
I think everybody has their own sky. At this point, that's really what I think. Everyone has their own sun. Everyone sees their own sky.
Would it change your mind on flat Earth if they did that?
Anthony, if the Earth was actually rectangular and the South Pole is just in the south on all locations, then that could definitely work out. You could see the south.
Please leave the word rectangle out of it.
Every point on the Earth, you could see the south.
Show me the
South
corner.
Africa, you could see the south and Australia, and you can see the south in
Show me
South
the corner
America.
of Earth, or don't say rectangle.
But it is rectangular.
So show me the corner.
Let's hang on.
There is no corner. It's looping.
Hang
That's
on,
the whole
I
point
would
about
rail
it.
that point. Let's ask the other people what their view would be.
So show me someone looping through it.
Well, just go to the west and you end up at the same place, despite
okay.
the lack of curvature. And it might be the same thing for north and south, but that is kind of hard to prove when you're not allowed to go there.
So the portals are only east and west, not north and south? Or they could be north and south?
No, I'm saying that the loop might also be north to south. That if you go to the North Pole, you end up at the South Pole and then continue on and get back to our continents.
What happens if you go straight 45 degrees off the corner? Do you come back the opposite corner?
Well, technically in that system, there is no corner. There is just a confined space that loops on all sides.
But rectangles have corners, don't they?
Yeah, but a rectangle is only an indication of the total spatial content. But there is literally no corner because there is no edge. It loops. That's the whole point.
Wow, you are far out.
No, I just really understand my concept. And no, it's very hard to visualize, but yeah, that's just how it
very
works.
hard to prove also.
It is kind of difficult to prove, I'll admit that, but it's not impossible. There are certain land measurements that can be done.
Well, go with a GoPro to the edge.
Don't let him off that, Arwin. No. You just said it's very hard to prove Arwin's. Well, we're still waiting for you to prove the ball. We're looking for your scientific proof.
You reject all evidence, don't you? Like you just said, the sky means nothing. So there's no hope for you, really, Randy. Sorry.
Where's your scientific proof? What I'm saying is,
you show it in your videos, mate. There's lots of obstruction in your videos.
The ball. Show me something that's undeniable.
We tried.
No, you haven't.
You haven't
showed us
tried.
anything empirical whatsoever.
Well, I don't do curvature tests myself or science.
Yeah, you don't do anything.
If I could stick my 2 pence in on that.
Go on, Adam.
This debate seems to be, if my auntie had balls, she'd be my uncle. You know, there is no evidence for what you're purporting. We've all happily and looked, as Walt said, looked for this matching southern rotation point. It's not there. So I think, as Anthony alludes to, until it is there,
and it's not there.
No, there's no clear presentation of the evidence. I think the Walt's probably.
So you've looked up in the south and there's nothing there?
No. I've not found any after 2,500 years of all supposed evidence. That a rather fundamental piece of evidence you would expect.
Have you looked up with a telescope in the south?
Not in the south.
So you haven't looked then?
I'm not talking about me, am I? I'm talking about evidence.
You said you've looked for it and you haven't found it.
Looked for evidence, not gone and travelled to the southern hemisphere and taken observations myself. That would be rather impractical, wouldn't it? Just, I assume you haven't as well.
Yeah, but I've found evidence that I'm happy with.
So working in the realms of reasonableness, and you know, if we've searched for it, it would be reasonable to assume that if that evidence was gatherable by now.
There's hundreds of photos of it.
No, there's hundreds of individual photographs, but there's no time correlated photographs to demonstrate the point that you believe in.
So go and do it.
I don't need to.
Not his assertion.
Live happily with your faith that there is nothing there then.
No.
Just one celestial pole.
I'm happy to accept evidence. Yeah, there are people in the south. There's lots of people in the south.
Yeah, hundreds of photos from the sky.
Must be.
I've got a photo from the equator with both celestial poles.
So the point being, you know, after this many years, you would expect the point that you're using to be a ready available source, but it's not.
There's hundreds of photos of it.
I know you keep saying that, but it's not presented as you and as Riley's saying there.
Whereas there's no photos of the edge of flat Earth, is there?
No. Have you been?
No one has.
Well, there we go then. So if no one's been, you're not going to get a photo, are you?
So we have hundreds of photos, but you have none.
You have hundreds of photos which don't.
You don't have hundreds of photos. NASA has hundreds of photos. So
astronomers from all over the south have hundreds of photos.
Of what though? You
Of the South
say that they
Celestial
are
Pole.
stars. Prove it's a star. Go up there and bring one
Doesn't matter
back.
what it is.
How can you prove it?
What I'll offer you. Does matter. Of course it matters.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does matter, Dawn. I've
Not
used
to
this
Ranty,
example
does it?
before, so I've got a projection screen in front of me, and I can measure all the stuff on that screen, but it doesn't address the fact that the light is coming from behind me, right? If you don't know what it is that you're studying or how it's created, then you've got no idea where its origins lie. Now, you believe they're self-perpetuating, they're stars, they're a great big fusion reaction in the sky. So that's how you believe it's generated. But it could be generated from a projector behind you. You just don't know.
On.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll do, right? This is how strong I feel about it.
Okay.
If you guys can get some credible evidence that can be repeatable and that we can all repeat and check it to make sure that it is true, if you guys get that evidence, I'll make sure that we find some way of getting it done to verify it. And then if we do verify it, the same results that you guys get, that will prove to me and pretty much most flat earthers that we must live on a ball, some kind of ball shape.
Not
Maybe
most. I think you're one of the only ones.
Well, then I'd start calling people out. I'll tell you what I'll do.
Okay.
You can tell me the people that you want me to put a video calling people out on. So
No,
if
that's
you want me
okay.
to call
That's
out
up to
Nathan to explain it, then I will. If you want me to call
what
out...
do we do? What do we do about the distrust issue?
The distrust issue?
Yeah, between you and us and you.
Well, it's not an issue about trust if we can verify your experiment by repeating it and getting the same results.
Yeah,
So
but if
trust
we
isn't
say
even
we've
an
got
issue.
it and you say you haven't got it, then we're both going to distrust each other, aren't we?
Yeah, but then we can if your claim is that we can prove the shape of the Earth, right? And now I'm saying we can do it by the stars if we get two observers looking south at the same time. And you guys have got to agree that that would prove a ball. I would agree with you if that was the case, right? If that evidence existed. The trust side of it would be irrelevant if it was advantage ballers and we had to then validate the experiment. If we got the same results with, say, for example, I can't think of anybody that's in the other parts of the world. But if we found flat earthers and we got the same results, I'd be calling out the flat earthers, mate. I'd be calling out anybody that could, unless there was a credible explanation and proof to prove that this would be the case. Because I can't see any explanation for seeing the same light sources. Whether they're stars or not is irrelevant. You can't see them from the same distance, from the same angle, if we're on a flat plane. However, you guys don't have that evidence in the first place to make the assertion as gospel. It's a logical deduction based on logic and reason, but it's not based on evidence.
Say we get it and you get it and we trust each other. Would you out Nathan, Ranty, and Owen say, come on, we have to legitimize?
I would call out deep inside the rabbit hole, Jaren. I'd call them all out because I don't see how that could be explained on a flat Earth.
I would.
Well, I gave you a pretty good explanation of how that could be possible.
Well, I'll watch your video.
Conclusive
See
evidence.
if it's credible.
Still literalizing the physicality of this.
Yeah, I think Anthony, if you're going to do this, you're going to have to verify these stars are actually tangible, solid position objects, because otherwise, like, we just might not understand the wonders of the sky. Therefore, the Earth is round. You know, that's basically just an argument from ignorance.
I would say that the logic doesn't follow that just because. I mean, it makes it a much more difficult proposition, but it doesn't prove the ball empty to me. But it does raise some serious questions.
It's the same as the ball going over the horizon.
You're not dealing with tangible objects. We're not necessarily.
Oh, sniped. Yeah, got a little sniper in.
Hello.
Yeah, essentially it's the same argument as the balls disappearing from the hull up, from the bottom up, and there's always going to be two sides to an argument on that. We're winning the argument on that, I believe, and I don't think that the stars or the lights that are up there can prove one way or the other whether we live on a flat Earth or a ball, I don't believe it.
Yeah, but it would prove that we're looking at the same sky.
It makes me appreciate both sides
You'd
of
be
the
looking at
argument.
right. So you go to the cinemas, right, and you watch a movie in one theater, and then you go into the next theater to play in the same movie. Right, you're in the same building, but you're both watching the same film from different observational points.
Yeah, but then you'd have to prove the projection,
anything.
right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't prove one way, and it doesn't prove that you're on a ball.
For me, at this point, a projection of some kind requires some element of mechanism, like to be cast onto. In other words, a firmament.
So Chris MCMX is saying that he's the one that sniped the chat.
No, I think it was that fake Rave account.
No. He's the one he's admitted to it. He's holding his hands up to it. He's the one that was spamming the Discord link in the chat earlier on, Nathan.
Wait, Ranty, I'd like to thank him for breaking my but that's the first time I've been kicked. Thank you very much, sir. It's very kind of you.
Oh, he's popped your cherry.
Yeah. Whilst we're on that, Nathan, last night, mate, I was up till 3 a.m, couldn't sleep because I couldn't put last night's hangout down, by the way. It was hilarious. Thanks for a good giggle.
The rumpus one.
Oh, hilarious, yeah.
Yeah. If you can drop us a line, part-time vegan. My email address is just the same as the channel name, but with @aol.com at the end. Just drop us an email and I'll add you to Skype. So if you get sniped, I can bring you back in.
All right, sounds good.
I've been trying to call you on Skype, Nathan, when there's no link.
Yeah, I haven't added you, Dawn. I don't actually want to be your friend. That might shock you.
Oh, well, thanks. Nathan, what if Riley, if those experiments do happen, and Riley calls you all out, how are you going to feel about that? Are you worried he might call you out, or?
Oh, I'll be terrified, man. I'll be quaking in my boots that the Earth's going to suddenly go globe-shaped.
Yep. The thing is, Flat Earth would have to respond, and if somebody within Flat Earth was saying, "Right, come on, Jaren or Bob or whoever," someone's going to have to do something, because you guys then have evidence that supports your assertion that the southern celestial rotation points are seen by 2 observers when looking south at the same time, right? That's not something that can be taken lightly.
It's action and reaction. So when they produce the evidence, then there will be a reaction to that production of the evidence. Until then, we're making we're just making, we're making banter here that has no relevance about anything, because there's no proof there that we're talking about if we get the proof. You've had 2,000 years to get this proof, but still waiting.
And with that, I'm going to say first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making today's debate possible, and also a massive thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully for sharing this debate. If you've not done so already, be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!